Name.
Daffy Duck.
Crime.
Contempt of court.
Name.
Bugs Bunny.
Crime.
Well, some might say being too good looking.
Maturity, something everyone over 18 is supposed to have, but no one ever explains what it actually means.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa!
That's too damn bad!
Help me!
Sure, we got jobs, bills, responsibilities, but what happens when the way we respond to society fractures our perception and when adulthood starts to look like survival?
Gen Z is stressed, depressed, and financially suppressed.
Sorry to tell you, buddy, but mental health doesn't exist. So why does Gen Z keep using it as an excuse for their struggle?
The food supply is poisoned. We're on the verge of war with everybody. You go on social media and something crazy is happening every second, and eggs are $12. You do the math.
I know stress has negative effects on the human body, leading to mental health issues, but it's too late! 2025!
And now, back to our regularly scheduled program. Only on Yapping About Nostalgia.
The characters in these shows were supposed to be adults, but they were very immature, or they had a different way of being quote-unquote socially mature. So we're gonna start off with Mr. Bugs Bunny. Yes. What's up, Doc? He needs to go to a therapist because he is very burnt out. He really represents a lot of adults these days. A lot of people are fatigued. I would say Bugs Bunny, he is a character that seems well put together. It seems like if you saw Bugs Bunny on the street, which would be kind of weird because it's not Space Jam, but if you saw Bugs Bunny, you'd be like, oh, he's a well put together man. No, he's a well put together bunny, you know, like he got a house, he had a successful business, but he didn't feel that way. He always felt like he was lacking something that caused him to crash out multiple times. I feel as though he was trying to find a way to relieve this burnout. You know, when you have burnout, you feel like you can't do anything, even though you did so much in your life. When you hit burnout, it feels like none of that matters. It's like, what are you doing with your life? What am I doing? What am I doing right now? Like, burnout. That's why so many people have to take breaks. Even when it's something that they thoroughly enjoy, they get stressed out. And honestly, burnout, I would say, is mainly due to trying to conform to those societal pressures that people love to put on you. Like, oh, if you got a good house, why don't you strive to get a mansion? Oh, you have a well-paying job, why not shoot for 6 figures? You know, it never stops. It's kind of like when you graduate high school or college and then someone was like, oh, what are you supposed to do next? Huh? I just got my diploma. I was just there sitting in the bleachers in the stands waiting for my name to be called for over 2 hours. You were asking me, what am I supposed to do next? Girl, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm supposed to eat. It's kind of like that. It's like success is fleeting. And he kind of represents that burnout feeling. Aside from burnout, he also represents him not being emotionally connected to people. Even with Daffy Duck, I'm pretty sure the main reason why he was able to have him stay at his place, being a freeloader for so long, was because he wasn't emotionally attached to him. Like, he tried to over the series, as you could tell, but like, he couldn't connect. And honestly, I think that's another thing a lot of people are experiencing nowadays. People are emotionally detached. I don't understand why people say social media, maybe that's the case, but I think a lot of people are scared. They're scared to be connected to people because, you know, society shows us again and again that things are fleeting. Success is fleeting. Money is fleeting. So would this connection be fleeting? People don't really want to, I would say, invest their time into it. So yeah. Bugs, he's very emotionally exhausted. He's so exhausted that he can't even connect with people anymore. And that's a problem. But it's also very realistic in this so-called fractured society that we live in today. Help me.
You're watching Yapping About Nostalgia. We'll be right back.
Now we're gonna go to Daffy Duck. Daffy Duck was his freeloader roommate. I feel as though Bugs needed Daffy just so he wouldn't feel as lost. Because if he didn't have Daffy, Bugs would have been lost. He would have lost in society. But since he had Daffy, things got a little bit more entertaining because Daffy, he was very delusional. He was a delusional performer. He was so delusional that he felt as though he was mature already. Yeah. He was that delusional. Daffy wanted to be important, but he didn't have the means to actually become important. He lacked a whole bunch of self-awareness and discipline to even achieve that maturity level that he was striving to. I feel as though he really idolized Bugs in the sense of him being able to achieve this vast amount of success. But little Daffy, he was just lazy. He was so delusional that he was trying to create a version of himself that wouldn't really exist in society just because of his work ethic. He was scamming people day and night. He was trying to create a business so that he actually had a reason to say that he actually matters. Even though he was saying that from the get-go, like, oh, he matters to society, but he didn't really have anything to prove that. So oftentimes he would do scams thinking that he would get away with it, but he would fail dramatically. He would always fail because he didn't have anything behind it. He didn't have no work ethic. He didn't have integrity. You can also see this in his treatment of Porky. The reason why he treated Porky was so bad because he was insecure. Porky and Bugs Bunny was his ideal standard of maturity, and he couldn't really achieve that. But because Bugs Bunny was emotionally detached to him and other people in the neighborhood and their friend group, Daffy couldn't really project his insecurity towards Bugs, but he could towards Porky Pig.
You've got mail.
When you look at psychology, people pleasers tend to put everyone else before themselves due to a hyperactive threat response wired by childhood abandonment. What you mistake as kindness is actually your body's survival strategy that's no longer serving you. At some point in your life, you learned that love was conditional from someone that was important in your development. JAMA Psychiatry shows that this floods your developing brain with cortisol, combining your self-worth with their moods, meaning that you're now wired to get a dopamine hit from other people's approval and not your own individual achievements.
I really feel bad for Porky Pig because there's a lot of people pleasers, and a lot of times society makes it really hard to say no because they kind of gaslight you. Like if you say no, then you're a bad person. If you don't want to do this, then you're the worst person ever. You don't care about human rights, blah, blah, blah. Whatever nonsense they like to spread off. Since Porky peaked in high school, I felt as though he lost his sense of identity after graduating because he was in that closed off bubble. One thing I noticed about people who peak in high school is that they often want to hold on to that identity because they got so much love and support in high school. They think that it will automatically transfer into like college or to the workplace or whatever they would go. But that's not always the case, because you're gonna be around other different people. In high school, you're in this small bubble with the same people for 4 years. So of course, you're gonna understand that demographic of people, and you can manipulate your image a bit just to fit in. But when you graduate from that bubble and go into like a bigger bubble, it's hard to manipulate your image and manipulate your personality in order to fit in. And I think that's the problem with Porky Pig. He did not know how to transform his identity in order for people to like him. And he believes since his personality wasn't as lovable compared to others, he believed that he wasn't deserving of love and respect. It's hard to manipulate your image and manipulate your personality in order to fit in. And I think that's the problem with Porky Pig. He attached himself to Daffy Duck. He was willing to be used over and over again, be manipulated, be honestly abused by Daffy, verbally abused by him, just because he felt as though this is the only thing his personality could receive. Porky was kind of neglected in the friend group. Not kinda, he was neglected. And it was mainly because he felt as though his personality his love that he put out in the world would only amount to Daffy's love. Yikes. We're gonna go into Lola Bunny. If I turned off my brain, I would have been Lola Bunny. I feel like a lot of people would have been Lola Bunny because she did not care about social norms at all. Like, she would challenge it quite a bit. Lola would often be labeled as crazy, but she wasn't really crazy. She was just honest. She was honest to her true self. Like, she didn't really care. She didn't really care about fitting in. She just did what she had to do. She was just vibing, honestly. That's why a lot of people love Lola, because she just lived like how she wanted to live.
You've got mail.
One thing I hate about society is how neurodivergent people are automatically expected to shapeshift and conform into what society wants or what's normal. And there's little to no effort to understand neurodivergent people coming from neurotypical people. And I think that's why a lot of neurodivergent people get burnt out so quick, because it's either you pretend to be somebody you're not, pretend to understand what the fuck is going on in the room and burn yourself out, literally deplete your energy, or you can unmask and literally face rejection at every turn. If it's not rejection, it's microaggressions. If it's not microaggressions, it's you being pushed out of the group slowly but surely. You know what I mean?
I love how they portrayed Lola in this show compared to Space Jam, because it really gave her a personality and made me really understand as to why Bugs like Lola. I feel as though having Lola Bunny in the show was really crucial, just because it showcases the differences in, I would say, maturity levels, and also different personality types when handling adulthood. Each character in the show represented a response to this unlivable society. You know, this society that's trying to make us into something that we're not. Like Bugs, who's representing being emotionally detached from society. We have Daffy, who's very performative. He has performative ambition. We have Porky Pig, who sacrifices a lot but doesn't gain anything in return. And we have Lola, who, her version of survival is just being chaotic. It's all a response mechanism to the society that they're unfortunately living in, because the society has strict guidelines and they have to follow it. And if they don't follow it, they'll be left behind. I'm remembering some characters like Speedy Gonzales. He was representing the hostling culture. Even the witch, she was representing that. The witch's son, which I forgot his name, he was representing like anxiety, social anxiety for sure. And even the rooster, I forget all their names. I'm so bad at names, sorry. But even the rooster, he's like very much a perfectionist. Each character had a response to society and how they felt about it. If you look at more of those characters, you will see certain responses that they're doing. The Looney Tunes show was so ahead of its time. Like, it needs to have a comeback. I know a whole bunch of shows are getting rebooted, like Amazing World Gumball and Phineas and Ferb. They need to bring back the Looney Tunes show, okay? Now we need that. Not only was it funny, I can relate to it. But I hope you guys like this video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Please let me know down in the comments what you think about this topic. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.